jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Saying that you're the best, you gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy, is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports.
First in the MFing building, Carlos Rosado is on deck, y'all. WCS salute, hottest chat in the MFing game. A-side official. No negotiation needed, period. You already know. Toby Bartlett in the building, Mr. International on deck. Salute WCS and the hottest chat on the YTC. We're global, baby. We're global. Yes, sir, indeed, man. Appreciate y'all pulling up, man. You know what I'm saying? The first step is on deck. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate y'all support as always. Man, it's Friday. I know y'all got plans, wherever those plans may be. It's always good to hold safety first and foremost. You know what I'm saying? But it can get a little rowdy, especially if you're still young enough to be in them streets for a long period of time. You know what I'm saying? That's not to mention some of you dudes got to get permission from your girls before you even step out there because they already know what you're about. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know what that's like because I never had to get permission first and foremost. You know what I'm saying? I just never had to. Shout out to Shaw News, the Sauce Experience, a.k.a. Showtime. Shaw is in the building. Team Tucker official on deck. The hot grease, what it do, brother? The news from Shaw News. Yes, sir. Appreciate you pulling up as always, fam. How you feeling? Big Blunts and Boxing, the GOAT has arrived on deck in the building. Yo, what's good with it? What's good with you, man? So I want to start off by letting y'all know I'm doing like an opening bell. You know what I'm saying? We got some mixed martial arts, of course, going on, some mixed martial arts. And we have, you know, Alexis, Rocha, and Giovani Santillan going on at welterweight division. Also, we have Makhachev, Islam Makhachev, going in against Alexander Volkanovski, too. I mean, the first fight ended, you know, with Volkanovski losing a slim decision against Islam, and they're back for another one. Volkanovski is currently the reigning defending featherweight world champion. You know what I'm saying? And Makhachev, Makhachev is the current reigning 155 world champion. And we'll get into that just a little bit later. But I just wanted to remind people that I do this. You know, so I may not talk about mixed martial arts often, but I do pay attention to it when I'm not talking about boxing. Every now and then I will take time away from boxing and the lives to actually just read through some shit and line for line and study some stuff, because you can't talk about mixed martial arts like you do boxing. I tried to educate cats about this long time ago, and they're pretty much look at it like I can talk about it the way I want. No, not really, because it's mixed martial arts. It's a lot that goes with that. You know what I'm saying? The whole sequence of events on how the striking process works out in front of you, it's totally being read different. You just can't say punch, kick, takedown. It's a bit embryonic, and all you have to do is just pay attention, even if it's boring to you, and find out, you know, learn the language and what's going on. Learn how to know what the fighter is setting up. Not here to give you a tutorial, but I want to start off first by talking about Anthony Joshua, get him out the way, right? AJ, former reigning unified heavyweight champion twice, 2 times, right? I was kind of hoping that AJ would somehow step up to the plate and have a fight with Deontay Wilder like he was supposed to do at the end of the year. Unfortunately, that fight has since evaporated, right? It just has since went away. Not too many people talking about it. Malik Scott has been on record as saying that Anthony Joshua just don't want to fight Deontay Wilder. But yet he went up there and attempted to fight. Robert Helenius is one of Deontay Wilder's common opponents. It was good for him to do that, but it really wasn't good enough for him to face the guy who the common opponent was with. For whatever reasons, he was coming out of the world-class furniture store in Dallas, Texas, and he didn't look that hot. You know what I'm saying? Before we know it, both his eyes was just having a bit of puffiness underneath them. And people was kind of curious to know why that was the case when Joshua was supposed to went in there and made a bit of easy work, because Deontay Wilder closed his man out in under 2 minutes. But that wasn't the case. Anthony, AJ, so to speak, he acted a little odd after the fight. He was going around to my do what the F I want, getting out of the ring, walking back. He was just weird. He's going through some things. I guess, when you build yourself up from a slender, frail frame like Joshua into an Adonis, you know what I'm saying, and go into the sport of boxing, a touted, recorded gold medal champion now, gold medal Olympian champion. When he came into the professional ranks off that win, which I didn't think he won the gold medal round, but in the record books it said it did. And he was a manufactured champion. You know what I'm saying? Paid Charles Martin the bag. Charles went out there and gave you the best skydiving, adventure that you can look at. I mean, it was real nice, and then he went up there and went into the goddamn Himalaya mountains and found out Klitschko would return back to the stadium in Wembley and fight him. And then he went on to go the distance with Joseph Parker. Joseph Parker pretty much, he hurt him in there, but he didn't do enough to keep his belt. It's almost like he survived. So that's pretty much the run of Anthony Joshua until he was finally, thinking about coming over to the States, which he did. He ran into Mr. Chemical Hulk himself, Mr. Juice Injection, full of the 1900 chemicals plus, that fight fell apart for freaking Jarrell Miller, right? And then they brought in Andy Ruiz, short, pudgy, boxer that many people thought who beat Joseph Parker, but he didn't get the decision. And he went in there and stopped Anthony Joshua, made him spit out his gum shield, just quit, didn't know English, none of that shit. So that was the first time Joshua lost his titles. And then, the second paycheck was coming around, the second stimulus check. Andy Ruiz know he had a second stimulus check in the rematch. And he came in there extremely overweight, obese. You know what I'm saying? He didn't care to represent the Mexican Heavyweight Foundation anymore. He resigned. Anthony Joshua pretty much stayed on the outside and just boxed him. Gave up the titles just like that. Gave it up sweet. The money cleared? The money cleared? Okay. Hey, good fight, AJ. Good fight, man. You did a lot more than I thought you would. Way different than the first fight. You did too, my friend. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Now, thank you. Thank you, brother. Anthony Joshua got back in there and was able to get some more wins. And then ran into Alexander Usyk, lost twice. And now he's been on this so-called derangement, if that's even a word. He's been on like this strange, weird excursion. Been having these episodes where he was just doing crazy stuff out of character, right? So now he's supposed to be set to go on a dark room retreat. All right, the dark room retreat, as you heard WCS, I spoke on ayahuasca. The ayahuasca deals more with psychedelics and putting stuff into your body, chemicals to get your brain to start taking you places that's possibly extremely fearful. Scary, and could force somebody to be forced into a fearful state, right? Very scary is ominous because it's induced and influenced through drugs, right? As in the dark room retreat, you keep yourself in the mask in the mall of the night. No light, no nothing for 4 days. It depends on which retreat you go to. Okay. Joshua went over there for 4 days, dark room retreat. Because I guess, you know, if you're in the light room and you have darkness upon you, they always say, what's in the darkness come to light. But sometimes us, when we're in the light room, which is daytime for me, that's my, metaphor, right? You taking what's in the light room back into the darkness with you, right? So what I see the dark room retreat is that you go and take what you was experiencing in the light room and then go back into the darkness. And somehow, some way, you try to find peace. You try to release those emotions that's walking around with you in the light room. So I don't know how many days it takes because everybody's thought process is heavier than the next person's, right? So you're supposed to go through all these dang workshops and all this, being in a dark setting for a long period of time. And when you leave, you're supposed to come out of there a different person when you head back in the light room. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, I don't know how that work. I don't know how consistent it is. You know what I'm saying? I would like to definitely know how many people are in this dark room with me during that time. To help me get through that darkness. Are you in there by yourself or do you have a roommate? You know what I'm saying? Something to that extent. But I guess they have workshops and they just try to get people to release some of the burden that they have on themselves. And that's what Anthony Joshua is going through right now. Truth be told, I'm not gonna doubt that he's going through some things just to get out of the Deontay Wilder fight. And that'll be a bit selfish of me to do that. But whatever he got going on, I hope he get this shit straight. You feel me? I hope he get it straight. Because I don't know what a dark room would do for a person when you're in the light room and darkness living amongst you, and then you go to that darkness to get rid of it. You know what I'm saying? To bring it out of you. It sounds good. I don't know exactly the whole process on what they do once you get there. I mean, it sounds unique, but I'm just curious to know, what's the whole basic daily routine. Very curious about that. I've looked online. People have their own sayings about it. I know Aaron Roger did this before, notable names and stuff like that. And yeah, I'll keep you posted on that. That's AJ though. That's AJ. Toby said, W says, you was in a world-class furniture store with Diddy James. Would you go into the dark room for 4 days? I know I would. If you were in a world-class furniture store with Diddy James, wouldn't you go into a dark room for 4 days? It's according to how long. Like, I've been in much darker places than the world-class furniture store. World-class furniture store is what it is. I mean, that I don't consider that to be a dark place. It's just, dealing with the same people can make you, go into your memory bank and pull out some dark shit, just to address and just to deal with what's been going on in the world-class furniture store. That's all. We'll get back to Diddy James. Let's talk about fight night, man. We got Alexis Rocha fighting Giovani, Santillan. Alexis Rocha's 23 victories in, 1 defeat, 15 knockouts, man. 26 years of age, southpaw, 5'10", 70-inch reach. You feel me? This is going to be continued at the welterweight division. Rocha is coming off a KO victory in the 5th round over Anthony Young. That was, the WBO, NABO welterweight title was, of course, on the line. You know what I'm saying? So you look at Giovani Santillan, he has an unblemished record of 31 victories, 0 defeats, and 16 knockouts. He's a little bit older, 31 victories in, southpaw too. Mirrored southpaws, 5'8". what I'm saying? Just a little shorter and a little bit shorter with the reach, 68.5 inch. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? This is, experience wise, it seems like it's matching up very well. You know what I'm saying? Seems like it's matching up very well. So they're gonna be on deck. You know what I'm saying? This is Inglewood, California, Saturday 21st of October. And this is on the California State Athletic Commission and Golden Boy Promotions. Just some names that's on the card. You got John Ramirez and Ronald Bautista. That's at the bantamweight. That's at Superfly. Then Arely Lucino going in there against Fondora's sister Gabriel Fondora, and this is the flyweight. Fondora is 11-0, and Musini is very experienced. She has about 38 fights, 37 fights. She's 32-3 and 2. You know what I'm saying? They go on a 10 rounder for the IBF World Fly title. You got Ricardo Sandoval going in there against Victor Sandoval. You know what I'm saying? We need to make them since they got the same last name, we need to turn that to Charlo. Jamal Charlo versus Jamel Charlo. Maybe we can get both of them names in there one day. David Stevens versus Joeston James. This is a super middleweight fight, 168. And the Sandoval fight, both fighters last name Sandoval. That's a 10 rounder flyweight. And then who else is on here that's notable? Nobody. But that's pretty much the fight card for this fight. It's going to be a Golden Boy special. You know what I'm saying? So just make sure you stay tuned for that. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you stay tuned for that. And I think we have the fight card of the notable names for UFC 294. Okay, this is Alexis Rocha, Giovani Santillan fight card. As I just went, you know what I'm saying? Drop that to you. So let's kind of talk about the UFC 294. This card right here, hey, they got a main event and a co-main event. I like it. And I can even go down just a little bit more to that. You know what I'm saying? And talk about Saeed Nurmagomedov and Muin Furov, Ikram Aleskarov versus Wally Alves. The one I like is Magomedov and Kalayev against Johnny Walker. Johnny Walker, man, he was touted as the next, man, and he faced, some losses or whatever, but he had a comeback so far. He's had his way of coming back and getting back on the winning streak. For Khamzat Chimaev, right? Let's look at the co-main event, Khamzat Chimaev. For Khamzat Chimaev, he's going against Usman. Okay, this is contended at 185 pounds, y'all. This is considered the middleweight division in mixed martial arts. Now, just a brief little history. You know what I'm saying? The weight class is significant, different, because 185 is middleweight for mixed martial arts. Right? For middleweight class in boxing is 160. Significant difference. In mixed martial arts, there are 8 male weight classes. You know what I'm saying? And the lowest weight class starts at flyweight, 125 pounds. As you look at the female side, their lowest weight class is 115 pounds. Now you're dealing with the 115 in boxing, that's flyweight, right? And it goes all the way up to 145 pounds for the women. Now, the reason why that being is just not enough women to fulfill the rosters to have a larger weight class. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it's impossible, but the PFL has a 155 pound division, but the UFC doesn't. They don't see the use of it unless they're going to have a roster large enough for there to be a champion and challengers of women being that big. Dana White and the matchmakers are not going to do it. But let's talk about Kamaru Usman and Khamzat Chimaev, right? Kamaru Usman, man, was 6-time welterweight world champion. He won the title from Tyron Woodley in a decision. And then he faced Kobe Covington, a nemesis. They used to go at each other. You know what I'm saying? Everybody that Kamaru Usman fought in defense of his title, besides Gilbert Burns, he had issues with. So he fought Kobe Covington first, and he really broke him up a little bit. Swelled up his jaw and everything. He broke him up real nice, and he was able to get the job done and get the stoppage in, I think, the 5th round, right? And then that was his first defense. Now he's supposed to fight his former stablemate Gilbert Burns, who was in the same division as he was. And it didn't work out. Gilbert Burns caught COVID, so he had to pull out the fight. That's after he beat Kobe Covington. He pulled out the fight. Then he went in there and fought Jorge Masvidal on short notice. Jorge ended up going the distance and then started to talk shit after the fight. Said, "Yeah, I went the distance with you, and that wasn't even full camp." Imagine what would have happened. We'd have full camp. So Gilbert Burns was scheduled to come back after Jorge Masvidal. They had a cancellation, and then he finally got his chance, and he hurt Usman in that fight. You're talking about two guys who used to train together. He hurt Usman, right? And but Usman was able to rebound and come back and stop Gilbert Burns in round 3. Then he goes back to Jorge Masvidal, who said, "Imagine if I would have had at full camp." He goes back to Jorge Masvidal, Game Bread, aka Game Bread. Legend. Have respect. Shout out to Mr. Pass on deck. What's good? He came back in there. Kamaru gave him a second shot and landed one of the most beautiful, oh my God, straight right hands you ever see in combat sports. Really. One of the most beautiful straight right hands, fully extended. Masvidal was asleep on Kamaru Usman's right shoulder blade before he even hit the ground. It was such a well-timed, perfectly placed straight right hand, and knocked Jorge Masvidal clean out. One of the best straight right hand knockouts that you would ever see in combat sports, not just MMA, in combat sports. So he won that in round 2, and then he goes on to rematch Kobe Covington, the guy that him and he was talking trash. Kobe, turned heel and started with this character because they was close to letting him go in the UFC, close to firing him, and he started turning heel. He started doing all the things that people didn't like. Make American great again, supporting Donald Trump, doing all the things that was against the grain. And he got his chance, and he went the distance and lost. It was a fair fight. He went the distance and lost, bro. And not to mention now, Kamaru Usman had only had one loss in his entire mixed martial arts career, and it wasn't even in the UFC. So Kamaru Usman made it all the way up to fight Tyrone Woodley, earned the championship, and defended it 5 times. Then he would run into Leon Edwards twice, and we all know what happened. He was knocked out in the 5th round where he was clearly winning the fight. Leon Edwards won with a head kick, and then he lost the majority decision. So now Kamaru Usman moved up to 185. He left the 170-pound division and moved up to 185, middleweight division. Up there, you have another fighter that was in the process of moving to Khamzat Chimaev. The crazy part about it is that Khamzat Chimaev had a tough fight with Gilbert Burns too, just like Kamaru Usman. See, Khamzat Chimaev is one of those guys that was deemed this freaking mercenary, so to speak. Like he just goes in here, he was rad dogging people. You know what I'm saying? He was just red dogging. The way he did Jing Lee, he just rag dogged him in the 1st round and choked him out. Just rag dogged him, man. So he goes in there and he's fighting 170. He goes in there and he fights Gilbert Burns. And Gilbert Burns really gave it to him, man. You know what I'm saying? He dropped him. He really gave him a tough ass fight. And not to mention, when he was heading to that fight, Gilbert Burns was a he's a multi-time BJJ world champion. So he has the grappling aspect. It's just with Gilbert, he's been working more on his boxing. That's usually the case when you have elite world class grapplers like Gilbert Burns. You know, we saw the same thing with Damian Maya and so many other fighters who came over from the BJJ blanket. You know, so Gilbert Burns, he was able to give Hamzat a really good competitive fight, but he lost, right? So with Hamzat, you know, the rumor that was going around that Hamzat was, you know, too big for 170 pounds. So, you know, the UFC had him fight Kevin Holland at a catchweight, you know, being that they was going to move him up to 185, whatever the arrangement was. He chokes out Kevin Holland in round one via Darce choke. There we go. You know, the mercenary type shit with Hamza Shemaya. Now, it was rumored that he was going to fight Nate Diaz, but people was up in arms about that because they said, why would you do that? Diaz haven't freaking fought. You know what I'm saying? Why would you do that to him? So that fight was changed out, right? That fight was changed up. They changed out the co-main guy, and then you know they switched it out, so to speak. So he had 2 council fights with Nate Diaz. I mean, Nate Diaz was switched out, and then Paulo Costa canceled. Now he's gonna have a 185-pound fight with Kamaru Usman. Kamaru Usman, like I told you, he lost twice to Leon Edwards. Now he's a 185 pounder. And then you have freaking Hamza Shemaev, who is now up at 185 pounds too. So we have 2 new middleweights that's fighting at that weight for the first time. But the big one, in my opinion, would definitely be Hamza. He's a big boy for 185. I want to see how Usman's wrestling and his experience as a 6-time welterweight world champion, how it will work against Shemaev. And also I want to see for Shemaev how and what will he employ to pretty much equalize that wrestling, that clinching that Usman has, and also has pretty good boxing too. You know, Gilbert was able to hurt Shemaev. Now Usman has better boxing than Gilbert. So I'm curious to know if you know Shemaev has been working on his freaking boxing, you know. But I just want to lay that out there for you. I'll give you a little backstory as I like to do because I do, you know, read and stay close to mixed martial arts and you know the grappling tournaments and all that. And I do understand there are channels out here that attempt to cover and put thumbnails up, but all I do is challenge you all to do your due diligence and learn more about mixed martial arts if you're gonna talk about it. You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't be reported as if it's boxing. I know you don't have to listen to what I'm saying. I'm just putting it out there. Like I will do a reaction video on your ass now. You go there talking about where he landed a left, a right, and slide and dip. And he went down on one knee. He tried to grab an ankle. He came up and got the wrist. He pushed him back. He jumped in the air and he did a soccer ball kick. You know what I'm saying? Just learn some terminology, kind of learn what you're looking at. Know how to speak about mixed martial arts quite different than boxing. That's all I'm saying. Moving on to the main event. This is a good one, y'all. Islam Makhachev against Alexander Volkanovski. God damn. If you know anything about Islam, you know that's Khabib's Nurmagomedov. You know, it's big things popping, supposedly with Islam Makhachev. You know, he's supposed to be the next best great. You know what I'm saying? And this fight is being contended at 155 pounds. The good thing about Islam is that he has some pretty good wins under his belt. You know what I'm saying? He's been tested too. For real talk. Dude's been tested, man. And he's still gonna get tested by Alexander Volkanovski again, being that they already fought. You know what I'm saying? They already fought. So just to give you a brief rundown, Islam Makhachev lost early in his UFC career. He's 24-1. You know what I'm saying? And his notable loss was against Adriano Martins. Yeah, UFC 192, Cormier versus Gustafsson, which was a great fight. You know what I'm saying? A great, great fight. He's going there again against the reigning defending featherweight world champion Alexander Volkanovski, 26. His most recent loss came at the hands of Makhachev. You know what I'm saying? In their first fight. Besides that, he is another person who was on a winning streak when he entered the UFC and never lost until he ran in there against Makhachev. He's the one that went in there and defeated Max Holloway. You know what I'm saying? Not one, not two, not three. Well, he defeated him 3 times. He has 3 wins are over Max Blessed Holloway, which is one of my favorite fighters. You know what I'm saying? He has some names. You know, he's been in there with the Darren Elkins, Chad Mendez, you know what I'm saying? Jose Aldo, brother. Max Holloway 3 times. Brian Ortega, a very brutal match. Chung Sung Jung. You know what I'm saying? Yair Rodriguez. And speaking of Yair Rodriguez, right? He went in there, and Yair Rodriguez at one point in time, you know, he had a lot of hype behind him. Real talk. But you know, it is what it is. You know, mixed martial arts continue to evolve. Just when you think you've seen it all, it's something new that's coming out. It may not be a absolute new move. It might be just a new method to how you're striking. You know what I'm saying? You got people that study, try to come up with new stuff. And striking is everything. At one point in time, you've seen these fighters using low calf kicks. You know what I'm saying? Because it's very minimal meat, you know, on them calves down there. And then you have people that was doing the front teep kick or the mid thigh kick, or you know, I mean, they just learning different ways on how to break down their opponents, different type of combinations and so forth. But the method for which they was executing them is continuing to evolve in mixed martial arts. That's the good thing about this sport. You have tools all the way from the head down to your toes, for real. You kick somebody in the face, they're not going to call timeout and say, "Stop using your toes. I want to see that again." Alexander Volkanovski, 26-2, man. He's the current reigning featherweight world champion, 145 pounds. Once again, 145 pounds. The man is 35 years of age. You know what I'm saying? And he has some of the best boxing in MMA. His opponent, you know what I'm saying, at the end of the day, Islam Makhachev. He's 31. He's a younger fighter. And he was in for it. You know, he was fighting a smaller fighter, Volkanovski, moving up from 145 to 55. And he only has 1 loss. But arguably, this is either going to be extremely easy for him to come back and do what he do, or he's going to find out that Volkanovski also made changes to go back in here and make this second fight a more competitive one. It was a damn good knock him, drag him out fight, man. Very, very interesting fight. I'm not gonna lie. It was very, very interesting, competitive, and I'm definitely gonna watch it tomorrow. Hand down, point blank, period. I'm gonna watch this tomorrow. So keep your eyes peeled for 155 pounds. Shout out to Charles Oliveira. You know what I'm saying? Charles Oliveira was the former 155-pound champion after Khabib Nurmagomedov. You know what I'm saying? And just to name a few people that Islam Makhachev has been in there with, you know, you're talking about Francisco Trinaldo. Those of you that's watching, you know, way back in 2019, you know, Gleison Tebow, Nick Lentz, Chris Wade. That's from Chris Wade. You know, at the time, you know, he was a next up and comer hype that they was talking about. And then he's supposed to fight Rafael dos Santos, had some cancellations with that. Drew Dober, Thiago Moise, if anybody remember Thiago Moise. Dan Hooker, he had his moments. Dan Hooker had his upsets and everything. He was touted as a new up and comer. But Neil DeRouche, that was canceled. Bobby Green, he got finished, you know what I'm saying, in this fight with Makhachev, but he just recently had a first round knockout. And if you ever heard the backstory of Bobby Green, it's something unique, man. He had a rough life, no mom, dad, all that, but good guy. And then he went in there and fought Charles Oliveira. Now the wild part about this is that the title was vacant at the time, right? Charles Oliveira lost the title on the scales, right? So then he lost the title on the scales. He ended up winning the fight. So he lost the title on scales, still went in there and won, but he couldn't get the title. So what the UFC do? They don't put him on the shelf. They don't sit up here and the fans dog him out and talk all this shit because they know Charles Oliveira worked his ass off to get there. They schedule a vacant title fight between Charles Oliveira and Islam Makhachev for Charles to come back in there, make weight, and fight for his title. And he ended up beating Oliveira in round 2. And people saying that Oliveira had other things going on. He wasn't as healthy. But the truth be told, he won the goddamn fight, fair and square. You know what I'm saying? Islam beat him. So he comes the new lightweight champion. And he goes in there and defend in a tough fight against Alexander Volkanovski. They allowed Max to move up, you know what I'm saying, an attempt to fight at 155 pounds. And he lost to Dustin Poirier. He was just too small for Dustin. You know what I'm saying? He was just too small for him, but he tried. And then, of course, he ran Alexander Volkanovski, lost. Then Volkanovski has been winning ever since. But for this particular match, he's going in there against Volkanovski for a second time, and it's going to be a barn burner. Yes, sir, indeed. Yes, sir, indeed. Shout out to everyone that's in the chat, the hottest in the MFing game. You already know it. Let me get to the chat right quick. Yeah, people think just because I don't talk about mixed martial arts, I don't be paying attention. I do. I be reading shit. I do. I be reading and staying abreast so I can give you backstories, give you shit like that. I know me hosting is not all about mixed martial arts, but when I talk it, I talk it. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no stuttering either. You know what I'm saying? When I talk it, I talk it. I know the backstories. I've been following this shit ever since the inception. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to everyone that's on deck. This is a boxing MMA extravaganza. Yours truly, WCS. My voice is coming back just a little bit on a Friday. You feel me? Just to throw that out there. AJ won that gold medal. With Diddy James for 12 weeks. Now, see, you're asking a lot there, Toby. You know how you got a nice buzz going. You're talking about something you like I'm talking about mixed martial arts, but you trying to give me like, hey man, I know you don't want to go to that club because you're feeling good, right? I was thinking about, man, let's just go down here to this place, man. I just want to see my friend. I know they're religious. You're not going to be able to smoke or drink in there, but just, I want to, just introduce you to my friend. Good, cool, wholesome group of people. No, man, I'm goddamn fucked up right now. I'm feeling good, man. I don't want to do that. That's what that shit is. Diddy James will take the buzz away, rip it right away, dog. You don't need a dark room or ayahuasca for that shit to happen. You know what I'm saying? Just the mere fact of me thinking about being in a dark room with Diddy James over there mumbling. I say, fuck it, man. Let me get my camera and try to make a goddamn horror movie out this shit. And Diddy, you stay right over there in the corner. Every man be, I'm gonna flash the moonbeam, and you just start talking. And I'm gonna goddamn put some screaming effects in that bitch, and we're gonna make a movie. After that Bud fight, Diddy James left the night to World Class Furniture Store in the UK for the grand opening. Y'all, I can't believe y'all are not talking about the Ultimate Fighting Championship 294 that's going down. What's going on with y'all, man? There you go. Appreciate you guys. Who you got in the UFC fight? Okay. Good question. Let me just go off. The main event and the co-main event, right? I'm going to put it out there that I have to stick with Islam Makhachev. This is why I'm sticking with him for this rematch to retain his title. Is because Alexander Volkanovski took this fight on 12 days notice. Yeah. They had a fighter pull out, took this fight on 12 days notice. I don't think he's in condition to go in there with Makhachev and get this and get this belt off of him. He's trying to become a two-weight world champion. I don't think he's going to do it with just 12 days. And for Kamaru Usman versus Hamza Chimaev, I look at the damage that he took with Gilbert Burns. I look at him being head kicked, knocked out cold, eyes open, eyes closed. I mean, what they say, eye wide shut. His eyes was wide shut. He was knocked out by Leon Edwards. His eyes was wide shut. He was laying out there on the canvas like that, and that was at 170 pounds, welterweight. And then he went in there and lost the unanimous decision. I don't know if he's being broken down. I don't know where he's at. Might have been the weight cut. He's always in tremendous shape. But I don't know, man. Hamza Chimaev, man. To me, he still has some work improving to do. He's a strong dude, though. He's a big 185 pounder. Man, I'm gonna say Kamaru Usman with the upset. I think Kamaru Usman has what it takes to hand Hamza Chimaev his first loss. Now, I'm just playing with the experience and him moving up, coming off of Gilbert Burns, thrashing he was put in adversity in that fight, and then he sub freaking Kevin Holland. Yeah, okay, but Kevin Holland is ups and downs and winning. I'm not saying he can't fight, but he has ebbs and flows. Kamaru Usman coming back in there and losing the majority of the decision to Leon Edwards meant to me that he made some type of improvement. So I'm going to give him benefit of the doubt after being 6-time welterweight world champion that he's going to go up here and give Hamza Chimaev a little bit more problems. You know what I'm saying? At 185 pounds. Being that he don't have to weight cut down to 170 because he's super lean. Super lean. Real talk, super lean. Shout out to Mr. Paz, Peace WCS off topic. You like the BKFC? Is it fun to watch? And is it quality high? All I can say is that I covered the BKFC several times. I did. Have nothing against the BKFC. I like it. Like I said, I drove down to Florida, covered that fight card several times. Sure did. Sure did. Man, I get around, man. I be in these trenches, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm one of the only people that cover the BKFC. To my independent media, BKFC, boxing, you know what I'm saying? Some mixed martial arts events, grappling tournaments, whether they was freaking, you know what I'm saying, world champion or just local BJJ tournaments. I cover, martial arts tournaments. Gotta agree, WCS, I was back Masvidal in that fight. Yeah, I want to see Gamebred get the title. I did. JD on deck. I see you. Shout out to In Conquest 2. What's good with it, brother? Peace when I saw how Hanzat picked up DC. I said, ish. Yeah, man. Yeah. Hamzat, he's a big, strong dude. We're talking about a guy when Conor McGregor disrespected Khabib, they end up stopping him. He went over there looking for Conor McGregor by himself in his country. He went over there to Ireland searching for Conor McGregor, and somehow the authorities or whoever was notified, and they had to stop him from coming over there because he was going over there solo dolo, dog. He said, "You're gonna have to prove to me what you talking about. You disrespect my brother like that, you have to prove to me you're that guy." You know what I'm saying? Toby said, carry him over to Dana while choking him out. Yeah, man. Crazy. And speaking to Dana at the same time, yeah, it was bad. It gave you that Crawford Spence vibes on that. I mean, not that Crawford Spence, Crawford Charlo vibes. He wasn't carrying Spence though. That just would have been bad for everybody if Bud would have carried Spence over there to the ring and was beating Spence over there in the corner, rather. Carried Spence over there to the corner and beat him up over in the corner while he was talking to you. Oh, that would have been nasty. Ah, man, to leave that goddamn moment in the brains, etched in the brains of them aerosexuals would have been dirty. Oh, wait. Don't get me to start, bro. Tony, I didn't know you were a big MMA fan, not left ICF days behind. I see. Bunch do you usually bet on MMA? I heard Volkanovski got robbed in the last fight. I wouldn't say robbed, Mr. Pad. I wouldn't say robbed. All I can say is it was a close fight. It was a close fight. I wouldn't say robbed. It was a close fight though. You know, Volkanovski is a tough dude. Got some of the best hands in boxing. This dude can fight, man. I don't know if he had the conditioning to go 5 rounds. These both of these fights, the main and the co-main, is 5 rounds, 5 minutes apiece. You know what I'm saying? That's why I like BKFC. BKFC, you have 6 rounds. It don't matter what fight it is. 6 rounds. Okay? That's all you need. 6 rounds. When you talking about bare knuckles, that's all you need. This slash, cut somebody up. You know what I'm saying? All that shit. That's all you need right there, bro. That's all you need. Alex in Islam is the highest level combat we can get. Even if you're not a big MMA fan, that's a fight worth watching. 2 of the top 3 pound for pound guys. Yeah, man, they are 2 of the top dogs, champions now. Champions. You know what I'm saying? They're reigning defending champions fighting each other. I'm just saying, not just any champions, but we're talking about mixed martial arts champions. I would give Volkanovski just an edge when it comes to notoriety and durability, because he has defended his title several times after beating the former champion in Max Holloway. You know, yeah, you gotta show up or show out, goddamn it. And I give the edge to Volkanovski in experience. I do. I give it to Volkanovski, man. Dude is a tyrant in there, bro. Very, very a pocket rocket, so to speak. You know, tough motherfucker, dog. Arnold Brown on deck. I see you. What's good, man? I heard Diddy James locked AJ in the wardrobe for 4 days because he thought AJ was leaving the world-class furniture store. Then told him it was a dark room treatment. Yeah, that's hilarious, man. Goddamn, he put AJ in a dark room experiment without even letting him know it's a dark room experiment. But Toby, this is why I got a goddamn call Cap on that with you. I got to call Cap, Toby. See, a certain comments you can leave in there, but you have to understand when you really trying to ad lib some shit or be hilarious, you got to come correct with it, that Toby. Now, one thing I got to check you on, man, and it's not personal, right? But do you believe that Derrick James, Diddy James of all people, would totally understand that there ever was a dark room that existed, brother? Are you giving him the credit of understanding what a dark room is? Outside the fact that when he goes and open that damn hatch to that garage door to the 175 fifth power freaking heat demon that was in there, that forced Spence to go to Vegas and leave the heat wave in Texas. Do you believe he know what a dark room is outside of him just going into showing up to a dark furniture store and cutting the light on? No, he don't. So you think he's gonna put Anthony Joshua in a dark room for treatment? No, he needs to goddamn lock himself in the gym, cut the fans off, and goddamn experience all the little demons that's going on in there. Maybe those selfish demons that he have that'll come out and they can all have a kumbaya, Toby. Come on, Toby. Man, come on, be better than that. You giving Diddy James too much motherfucking credit, bro. How dare you do that shit on a Friday, man? How dare you, man? You think that Diddy would come up with a plan like that to help Joshua out? You think Joshua would respect Diddy James if he said, hey, when you go in there, about 20 feet and go in there, you're gonna cut the light on, and cut the lights on, you're gonna stay down and fall. My friend, excuse me. You know what I mean? I can't understand what you mean. Come over here for help. That's it. I don't need no dark room. Whatever you're saying, Mike. I don't need it. A dark room. I've been in dark rooms all the time. I got shit scheduled. Got a retreat schedule. You want me to go in the room for 4 days? No, I want to train. I want to train. That's what I want to do, Derek. What are you doing? You know what I mean? I don't get it. It's rubbish. It's bollocks. No, and do some start getting a little, scary a little bit. You know what I'm saying? For real. You got to think about that. Diddy is suggesting you to go into a dark room for treatment. All I would say, you better run out that gym ASAP, dog. I mean, you come here. I was getting some food. What did I do wrong? But yeah, that's what I'm saying, Toby. You expect Diddy James to come up with a plan like that to help somebody psychologically? Come on, Toby. Come on, T. I got to shorten that up all the way to TB. Come on, dog. You up here talking about Diddy James scheduling a dark room session for Anthony Joshua when he got his own issues to deal with, brother. Stop it. Stop it, man. What's going on, A? How you feeling, bro? Stop the madness, Toby. Stop the madness. It must have been too much furniture polish before I joined the chat. I'm going to have to cut it back. And there wasn't no furniture polish over here, bro. You brought the furniture polish over here yourself. Y'all coming here talking about Diddy James. Why would Diddy James even be on your thought process when this was talking about freaking Alex Rocha? You know what I'm saying? This was talking about, a golden boy affair. You know what I'm saying? Giovani Santillan against Alexis Rocha. You know what I'm saying? I was trying to do some due diligence and talk about that fight at welterweight division. Being to always talk about Spence, Crawford, Spence, Crawford, Spence, Crawford, Spence. I tried to switch it up. Goddamn, give you some new flavor and shit. But man, hey, man, and then I want to talk about the UFC 294, which to me, that shit's going to be fire. You know what I'm saying? I got, Tim Elliott on there. I forgot to mention Tim Elliott, right? Check this out. Let me bring Tim Elliott up. Let me show you something. Let me show you something right quick, right? So you see Tim Elliott down here versus Makhachev. Look, let me show you something right quick. All right. Let me show you how they get down in mixed martial arts, which I love because I've seen Tim Elliott before, and dude's been through some wars, man. But that dude is a light champion. I mean, not light champion. He's a 19-12-1. And from what I understand, I think he still fights. Let me see what weight he fights at now. He's down at flyweight, 125, like I thought. So he's down at the flyweight division. And he's been in some wars, man. And they always show Tim. Tim got teeth knocked out all over the place. Man, that motherfucker tough as hell. He would give you hell. He's not the person that you're going to see walking down the street looking all buffed and everything. He's probably going to have a flannel shirt on and a freaking big ass straw hat. I mean, that's just who he is, but motherfucker tough as hell. I ain't going to lie. You know what I'm saying? He's had his losses. Like I said before, they would consider Tim Elliott one of the, so-called legends at the end of his career, based off him having as many fights as he had. 19 wins, 12 losses, and 1 draw. Now, boxing fans really can't relate to this because they just look at a person that has this many losses in boxing, they're bums. But Tim, and along with many others like Cowboy Donald Cerrone, Nate Diaz, nobody's going to call Nate Diaz anything less than a legend because the fights that he has won that's outside the championship circle, right? Achievement. Man, he has some momentous occasions, man, especially when he went up there and fought Conor McGregor, who was just on this tear. It wasn't like Conor McGregor was freaking undefeated. He came over to the UFC with 2 losses. So when Conor McGregor met Nate Diaz, the Stockton OGs, you know what I'm saying? Nate and Nick, shout out to them. He subbed him out in round 2, man. You know what I'm saying? Come on, boy. He had the most classic line at the end of that shit. You know what I'm saying? He let him know. He wanted to then sub that man out. And then they gave him an immediate rematch. But it's just the point that Nate Diaz has multiple losses. Yeah, the same Nate Diaz just came out fighting Jake Paul that day. They call him a legend, man. I finally got a chance to meet Nate Diaz and get a picture with him. And I do consider him a legend, you know, because he was fighting grown-ass men since he was a teenager. You know, mixed martial arts, man. You know, no gloves at that. So Tim Elliott, you know what I'm saying? He's a tough dude. Let me share screen right quick and kind of give you insight to where I'm at with it. All right. This is what I do. This is what I do for you. Mm-hmm. Let me take this down. Here you go, right here. You know what I'm saying? This is Tim Elliott. For those of you that may not know, that's Tim Elliott right there. And, you know, his record 19-12-1. He's a 36-year-old fighter. You feel me? And you can look down at his Christmas tree. He has his green, he has his reds. You know, 3 tough losses right there. You know, subbed out, unanimous decision, and then a sub out. So he was going through some wars now. And the Conor choke, he won that. I mean, this is a wild dude right here. Subbed out round 1, unanimous decision, and you can believe the unanimous decisions. You know, he was in a fight, bro. He was in a fight. But he's taken a lot of L's since he's been in the UFC. Real talk. I'm not gonna hold you on that. He's taken a lot of L's. Real talk. He's a tough dude, though. Yep, W says, haven't heard anyone mention D. James in a positive light for at least a couple of months now. From best trainer in the world to crickets. Well, you know, once you had Bomac drop that goddamn sledgehammer on his head, and you know you drop a sledgehammer on freaking Diddy James' head with no Vaseline on that motherfucker, it's gonna do some motherfucking damage now. You know what I'm saying? That shit will not concave. You hit Diddy James in that motherfucking cranium, it's not doing anything. It might have a little swelling up there, but all the damage is going to be continually be inside. You know what I'm saying? All the implosion is going to stay inside where it's already at. It's already the debris that's floating around in that motherfucker. Like we looking at a space odyssey. Like we on a space odyssey and we going on a little space tour and say, oh, wow, this is where, look. I never knew it was that much shit floating around up in space. Wow. Man, look at that. Lunch boxes and shit. Old McDonald's bags. That's a pack of now-laters up in that motherfucker. Somebody even left some boxing gloves. What were they trying to do? Box up in this mug? What are you doing? I mean, that's what is floating around in Diddy James' head. I don't want to say too much. I don't want to give away why he sounds and acts the way he does. But Brian Bomac said, no more hiding. That's just sealed the deal. You haven't went up against me nor my staff, God damn it. Me nor my staff, dog. It was profound when he said no more hiding. How can you tell a man no more hiding? And he pretty much, listen to me, y'all. He pretty much had a undisputed fighter in his stable. And Bomac said, I've been here already. Now, Crawford, we already know Crawford wasn't undisputed at the time. Crawford had been 140-pound undisputed. So when Bomac fired that shot at Diddy James, we've been here already. No more hiding. This is at a time where Diddy James had Jermell Charlo as an undisputed titleist. A current active reigning defending 154-pound titleist, undisputed. And Bomac didn't even acknowledge that he was the one responsible for Jermell Charlo becoming undisputed. You know why? Because he had since left in between the Brian Castano 1 fight and 2. Yes. For those of you that have your sources. And he pretty much pleaded and begged to get Jermell Charlo back to the camp prior to going in there facing Brian Castano for a rematch. You know what I'm saying? So you're talking about somebody in boxing community, conversation travels a lot. Real talk. Conversation travels a lot. You know how word of mouth is. And a lot of people must inform Bomac. They talk. Inform Bomac this what was going on at this place at this time and all that. You know what I'm saying? Jermell Charlo, probably felt some type of way about getting beat up on by Brian Castano. And then he went over there to a coach that can probably help him with his movement and shit like that. So when he went in there the second time, he got the stoppage. Diddy James wasn't the one who was getting all the credit for that. If he was, Bomac would have never outed him like that to say we've been here before, as if he doesn't already have a fighter in his stable that's current reigning defending 154-pound undisputed. Come on, bro. Come on. That was some gangster shit, bro. That shit was gangster, man. That was like, man, I don't give a fuck who you got in your stable. We already know the deal with that undisputed titles. You didn't raise him up like I raised Crawford up. We've been there already, man. We was back there in 2017. Catch up, homie. Catch up, dude. Show us that you can go in there and beat. Because you haven't went up against me nor my staff. Show me you can beat Crawford. Show me you can outcoach me. Show me that your fighter, Jermell Charlo, can go up here and give you full credit. I haven't heard him give full credit to Derrick James for that. I haven't, bro. You know what I'm saying? Look, after Jermell Charlo fight with Canelo Alvarez, he gave Joanne Guzman the biggest hug. And then he said, we can't forget about the main man. Man, I thought Diddy James would be in the frame already, doing the two-step. You know what I'm saying? The Atlanta Cha-Cha or something. I mean, good Lord, show me that you can outcoach me and show me that Arrow can outthink. You know what I'm saying? And his boxing IQ is better than my fighter, Terrence Crawford. Show me. That's all I want. Show me that shit is possible. And then we straight. Show me. I want to know. But in case some of you in the chat that may be missing Diddy James, this may be the wrong area because there will be continuing hot grease until this fight happens again. You know what I'm saying? I will be keeping a close monitoring system on other fighters that has now returned back to that gym and maybe potentially training at that gym. I don't know. Bruce Gas Boxing Jazz and more. What's good, OG? How you feeling? You know what I'm saying? But if y'all worrying about the crickets, man, you know what you do to crickets, right? You know what I'm saying? Because they'll chirp, chirp, chirp until you pull up on them and then they get quiet. But if you don't want to hear, the crickets chirp anymore, you know what I'm saying? All you got to do is just gently place your feet on there and twist the heel from left to right and do a full 180 twist and make sure you're on some real abrasive surface. So once you do that twist, once you release your foot, you might have to just, run it from 12 to 6. You know what I'm saying? Get the debris off of it, and then that cricket won't be chirping no more. You know what I'm saying? Especially if it's about Diddy James. Real talk. Real talk. I'm just being honest. Let's go up here to Linares has a fight with Catterall. I don't know the significance of this fight. Why is he happening? Some people feel that Catterall won his fight against Josh Taylor and was robbed. But if anybody knows, whoever wants to bring it up or not, I hate doing it, but it's very relevant at the end of the day. It does have something to do with who he is as a fighter. It is part of, what people talk about when it comes to Jorge Linares. And y'all already know what I mean. Linares has 55 bouts, y'all. He's 38 years old. He has experience. 47 victories, 8 defeats, 29 knockouts. And dude has been stopped 6 times out of his 8 losses. He's on a 3-fight losing streak. And Jack Catterall is fighting this man. I don't know why. He came off a fight with Devin Haney. And Devin Haney was the first to like, you know, they was talking about he's going to be the first to do this, that, and the other, you know what I'm saying, have a victory over Jorge Linares without knocking him out. Pretty much what they were saying. And that turned out to be what it is. It's not a big deal, all right? But he was stopped in the 12th round by Zaur Abdullayev, right? The same Zaur Abdullayev that faced Devin Haney a little bit early in his career. You know what I'm saying? And then he went in there against Zora and he lost a 10-round decision. So he had 2 fights in 2022 and he lost both of them. And then he has in here against Jack Catterall, who's 27-1. And Jack Catterall is going to straight up, point blank stop Jorge Linares. I'm just putting it out there. He's going to stop him. He's going to stop him, period. I don't know why this fight is even happening. Real talk. Dana White is on record as saying that Francis Ngannou Tyson Fury fight will not be able to compete with UFC 294 just happening tomorrow. He says it's not going to be able to compete with viewership and pay-per-view. It's not. That's what Dana White is saying. Dana White, you know, when it comes to him, he'll talk his shit when he's saying, hey, this boxing match ain't gonna be able to compete with us. You know what I'm saying? I don't know though, because more and more people have drawn in with curiosity with the big beast. You know what I'm saying? Francis Ngannou, and then the big beast in Tyson Fury. Fury is still the current reigning WBC champion. You know? And from my understanding, this is a sanctioned fight, right? Francis Ngannou is coming in there as an 0-0 boxer, right? Am I not on par with that? Am I not on par with that? They making this a sanctioned fight? Because at one point in time, I thought it was an exhibition fight. You know what I'm saying? It might be an exhibition fight. I want to hope it's an exhibition. But I think it's a sanctioned fight, bro. For real, I think it's a sanctioned fight. But anyway, I don't see Francis Ngannou beating Tyson Fury. Seriously, I don't think so. I don't think Ngannou hits harder than Deontay Wilder, even though they have been on record saying he do. I don't think so. I'm still looking forward more and more anticipation for David Benavidez, Demetrius Andrade as it creeps up. And while, you know, I was looking at all these up and coming fights, a name came back to the surface. You know what I'm saying? Just like a fart bubble. A name popped up in the surface like a fart bubble. Yeah. His name being the one and only Chris Colbert. Chris Colbert has came back to the surface due to human combustion. And he's saying he would love to get a crack at Gervonta Davis. Now, why would you stay underneath like that for that long period of time and then come to the surface to say some dumb shit like that? Don't nobody want to see Chris Colbert and Gervonta Davis. You've been on the canvas already several of your fights. You need to apologize to Deontay Wilder first. That's the juju that you need to get off your back, homie. When she was going at Deontay Wilder and saying all that dumb shit, you have had no luck after that shit, nigga. You need to apologize to the Bronze Bomber and release that curse. Hopefully he can release that curse from you and you can continue to get back into your true form. Because you don't want no Tank, dog. Tank will flatline your ass. No, man, no. Who told you to come up for air for that shit? No, don't do that, man. Damn, somebody get your boy. Get your boy, man. Stop doing that. But on a lighter note, Chris Colbert is supposed to face Jose Valenzuela rematch, possibly for December this year. And y'all know that was pretty much a controversial win for Chris Colbert. And then Valenzuela, you know, he suffered his defeat knockout. You know what I'm saying? So let's see how that plays out. And then for those of you that stay close to the game, Bud Crawford has been active on Twitter, saying that fighters need a place at the table. And fighters for some time have been looking at it like all you want me to do is lace up and box. And boxing has not advanced the way people believe it has. And look, WCS has put it out there and said that this is a system, bro. This is not an entity. Boxing isn't an entity. It's a system. Everybody has their own system on how they want to run it in boxing. That's why there's no uniformity. That's why certain areas struggle over here, certain areas struggle over there. That's why you have Showtime, once again pulling the cord. We had HBO, they gone, Fox gone, Showtime gone. And why? Why is this? If boxing is an annual sport, why can they come up with a cohesive program, a group of people that can restructure how boxing is being ran? Because it's on threads, man. This sport is on threads at the end of the day. It's freaking on threads, man. The shit's frayed so bad. Boxers go out here and put anything and everything into these camps and this, that, and the other, and networks are walking away. What is Golden Boy doing? Golden Boy, you don't hear too much about that. Who they got over there? You know what I'm saying? It seems like if it's not controversy, it's promotions that's living on a thread, a frayed thread at that. They're on thin ice, man. Why are we talking about every day Showtime, the death of Showtime, the death of Showtime? PBC wasn't with Showtime the entire time it was up here. And so when they with them from 2013 to now, PBC, wasn't they with them from that? You know what I'm saying? So why is Showtime leaving if the pro PBC challenge was putting out here and saying he was putting on the best fights? I heard you all. You was saying the PBC was putting on the best fights and they was bringing in all the money and they paying their money, they paying all that. But you got certain individuals that don't even focus on that right now. They don't even want to talk about Showtime and the reason why it's like the way it is. But you have people bragging about how Al Heyman overpaid fighters initially, but yet he's in debt millions upon millions. You know what I'm saying? With financiers, investors. Where are their money at? How do they get their money back? You're gonna continue to be in limbo, trying to avoid being served to get sued. Is this gonna all come down, crash and burn at one point in time, bro? How can this promotion TGB fail to sustain a relationship? You know what I'm saying? Hold on for a second, y'all. It's a sanctioned fight, but no title. Yeah, it's a sanctioned fight, no title. Appreciate that, Toby. Yeah, that's how much I've been paying attention to it. I mentioned it before, but I knew it was going to be either a sanctioned fight, but I knew it wasn't no title on the line. So it's going to go on his record, but it's a non-title fight, which they're saving grace with that. I like it. I like it. I like it. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely going to watch it, though. I gotta watch it. I gotta return back and watch it because after seeing that motherfucking, it wasn't even a train wreck. It was a person that was skateboarding. You know what I'm saying? The person that couldn't stop. They was skateboarding right in motherfucking Atlanta traffic during rush hour. This shit was tragic. That goddamn Jake Paul, bro. bro. I mean, Logan Paul and Dillian Dennis and Tommy Fury and KSI coming out trying to fight like MVP. What's his name? Damn, I forgot his name. Yeah, I mentioned it when the shit was going on, but he was a Bellator champion. Michael Venom Page. Okay, he came out there fighting with his arms down. You know what I'm saying? Hands down, trying to use the explosion, in and out attack. And it works for MVP because that's what he's used to via his Taekwondo background. But dude, oh my God, it was wicked. It was wicked. And then KSI want to argue as if the decision was a robbery and he should have got the decision. It's like, bro, you up here darting in and out. You didn't drop him. Come on, bro. Yeah. I'm curious to know how he got them points removed. And you thought, I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it was wild. I ain't gonna lie. It was a wild fight for all the wrong reasons. Hold on for a second. That Tibetan monk, King Tut, or whatever his name was gave Chris all he needed, and that was short notice and moving weights, as I remember. If any fighters are waiting for back end money, better hope Uncle Al doesn't declare any bankruptcy. They could be waiting for a long time. That's true words, Toby. And that has already been a topic of discussion like months and months ago. If he does something like that, he's probably been getting his business in order because they're definitely going to try to see what assets he have, his money. I don't know. And then at one point in time, I was told that he was going to rebrand the PBC. So he was going to do something new. He was going to rename it. So to release or to separate himself from the PBC brand. I heard that several months ago, even last year, that they may potentially happen. And that was somebody from PBC. But I don't know to get in all that. But you own to something. You know what I'm saying? You own to something. What if he does do that bankruptcy? What's going to happen to the fighters who has that back end money? That's a good point, bro. That was a good point right there. KSI trains for MVP in London. I think that's where he gets his style from. I mean, if is a style or something that he just picks up? Has he been fighting like that his whole life? I don't remember him fighting like that against Logan Paul. When KSI fought Logan Paul in the first match of his kind like that, well, KSI was introduced to the boxing community. He wasn't fighting like that. He wasn't fighting like that, bro. I can't remember him fighting like that. Since I'm up here, hold up. Since I have the resources, let me take a moment. Okay, let me take a moment. I'm just going to go slightly into highlights. Ease into the highlights. Yeah, he wasn't even fighting nowhere closer. That's what I thought. He was fighting like a amateur boxer, man. Every time Logan Paul came in, both of them looked terrible. You know what I'm saying? But KSI barely had any defense. He was throwing the jab. He didn't have his hands down. You know what I'm saying? They was well in the way, but he wasn't with that Taekwondo MVP stance. He just picked up that. So I would just say he picked up some type of, man, Logan was landing some good shots on KSI too. He's really made some improvement. Logan was landing some good shots on him. But, you know, one thing about Logan, he needs to understand there's rounds in a fight for a reason. Reasons, rounds, reasons. Yeah, that's all I can say about that. But, man, appreciate y'all pulling up. I might be back on a little later, but appreciate y'all. Salute to the hottest chat in the MF and game, A-Side Official. Appreciate y'all supporting the channel. Hit the like button on your way out. You already know what it is. WCS. Peace.
Left jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss. Now you counting stars. Should've practiced more. Should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy. Is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports.